just got done watering in the high tunnel, aka Hoopty, and I thought this would be a good time for a walkthrough video. It's been a while since we've done one, so let's take you through row by row and explain what's going on and what the plan is, because as you can see here, there are some rows that are not planted and some rows are half planted. So let's just start with row 1 and give you just a December walkthrough of Hoopty. Let's go. You would think in December the mosquitoes would not be bad, but I am being tore up out here. I came out in a mid-length sleeve shirt thinking, hey, it's a little cool, we should be fine, but it's not as cool as I thought. It's 70s today. So, yeah. Alright, so row 1, we have our strawberries. They are looking good. Our strawberries don't go into dormancy in the high tunnel, and I'm thinking that I'm going to move them into an area that we're preparing just outside of the high tunnel. But for now, there's a lot of space in between where some have died. So what I'm going to, and we had such a horrible time with the snails last year when these were bearing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some of our onions in between, in these gaps, all along this row, all the way to the end there. And the hope is that we won't have as much problem with the pill bugs and the snails this year, with those onions growing. And I probably will even put some garlic in as well to kind of help offset. Maybe if they get on an onion, they're like, ugh, I don't want this, and they'll go far, far away. We'll see. So that's row 1. Of course, we have our rosemary there as well. It's growing a lot, and we're propagating more to be planted in other spaces, other little corners in here, but also in our raised beds outside. Second row, we have fennel. It's growing very, very nicely, but all of the row is not fennel. So the reason why it's that way is because when I initially did the planting, I had run out of soil, and so I wasn't able to put the seed in all fresh soil, which this area is one of the worst areas when it comes to having clay soil. So it definitely, we have to continue to build it up each year, each season. But here on the rest of this row, we have Mizuna, which something is eating it. I'm probably just going to go ahead and harvest that, and we'll just enjoy that in a salad or saute it or something. It's not a whole lot. Throw it in some eggs or put it in a salad as a filler. And the rest of this row was just randomness. I thought I was recording and I wasn't, and I hate when I do that. I think what I said was, this is lettuce and weeds, and I'm gonna need to come through here and weed. And after we harvest this lettuce, which we'll probably just harvest as baby greens in order to go ahead and clear up this space, and this was just some random seed packets that were needing to be emptied, and I just literally scattered the seed because I had the space. So why not? I don't like wasting seed, but I also don't like to keep seed for an extremely long time. With some, I noticed that the viability goes down with each year that you keep it. So lettuce for me tends to be one of those. So I'll probably harvest that lettuce and that Mizuna, and we have some spinach out in one of the raised beds, and just make a nice salad for dinner. All right, so we passed row 3. Let's go back and catch up on it. This is actually it here. It is, well, it's not even, I don't think it's halfway planted, really, but we have peas here, and I have to get another cattle panel to finish this row out, and we actually already got the post already. We just got to get some more cattle panel and get them installed so that the rest of this row can be planted out in succession with peas so that we have plenty for the season. But you can see our last planting is coming up nicely there. They look good. We have a couple of blocks where the seeds didn't germinate, and when I remember, I'll just bring some more out and plop in there. All right, so the next rows, 4, 5, and 6 are planted kind of oddly, and the reason for that is I had to our watering system has temporarily changed, and so I've kind of just taken advantage of that. So here we have onions, celery, cauliflower, and on this part of it we also have, really close to those mustards there, we also have some more onions. That is a variety of onion that can be grown as a bulb, but it's also grown as like scallions, so that's what I'm going to do with it. It's going to help hopefully protect against pests as they grow, and who doesn't like to have fresh green onions on hand? I mean, it really improves your cooking flavors and everything, so happy with that. The mustards are doing good, and despite the issue that we're having with the red aphids, which are also known as mustard aphids, I've just been spraying them off. As you can see, some of the heavier infested areas at the top there, which is why they're leaning over right now, because I've just hit them with the water hose pretty heavily, trying to spray off as many as possible. It's a cloudy day, so if I can get somebody to come out here and do it for me, I'll probably get some soapy spray on those, and just continue to keep the population manageable, not let it get out of control. There's, as I said before, it's like once you have them, you have them. So as I turn on these 3 rows here, very densely planted again. Celery doesn't take up a lot of space as it grows, so it's not a big deal to plant it fairly densely. So back there is our next succession of very densely planted mustards, and here these are those I do believe are cauliflower on this part, and then as we come further down, it migrates into cabbage. Okay, so that section back there are cabbages. These are a smaller variety, so I do have them planted rather close together. They're not going to get very big. And on the outside, I ran out of those particular onions, but on this side here, I went ahead and did some of those smaller garlic cloves that I told you about, and you can see some of them are coming up, and some of them are literally coming up out of the ground. I didn't put them deep enough, so I'll go back and push that through. But yeah, that is rows 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4, 5, and 6. Those are rows 4, 5, and 6 there. As you can see, we did have to bring in some soil to get these rows planted out, and make sure, as I said earlier, the soil this way is a little bit more clay-like than the soil on the upper end here. So, but we've been building up the entire high tunnel, because year after year of planting, you just need to have a good healthy soil in, and then we try to keep it healthy as best we can with practices that improve the livelihood of the soil. So it's just an expensive process, and it is what it is. It's just a part of gardening. You just gotta deal with it. All right, so 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8 are these 2 here. They are currently empty, and I'm still deciding on whether or not I'm going to put anything there. And the reason for that is where it is a really warm zone of the high tunnel. And so the center section of the high tunnel like rows 4 through like 10-ish, 9, they tend to be the warmest sections, but those 2 rows are like the warmest. And so I'm trying to think about what I could put there that would go ahead and be ready and out of the way when I would need to go ahead and get my roselle back in, and possibly okra for the year, sunflowers, those things. So I'm kind of I won't say at a loss, because there are some things, but they're not things that I necessarily need right now. So for now, those beds are dormant, and so we've just been using it, as you can see, to store things. So what we're storing there now is our parsley, which, excuse it, I just sprayed it too, and it's all laid over. But it looks really, really healthy. So that's our curly parsley. And then we have some grapefruit trees. Well, grapefruit trees. 1 grapefruit tree. No, is that 2 grapefruit trees? Yeah, I did get 2. Okay, so no, it's just 1. Or I don't know what I did. These are fruit trees that need to be planted, and we're trying to get them planted before this month is over, because usually January, usually it's February, March that are the coldest, honestly, but sometimes it can kick up in January. So we're really wanting to get these planted this month. The issue is finding where to put them, because we have an orchard, so to speak, down in the front of our property. But since we're really wanting to create a sort of a permaculture environment to where we just kind of have everything growing together, companion planting is important. So we're researching a lot of different things that would work with these plants rather than against it. So we also have our onions down here. A few of our cabbages and cauliflower are still left, and they've honestly are very close to the point of being stunted if I don't find a home for them soon. So we'll see if I have a potential spot for some of them, which I'm about to show you. But here we have our peas on row 9. I had to keep counting. Row 9 here. We have our peas, and they are doing so well, and they are so beautiful and so delicious. So, and we have a random tomato that's there that survived. All our fall planting tomatoes pretty much died. It may just be the soil ecology in this area may just not be good for tomatoes. So I don't even know if I'm going to put them there this year. I may alternate and put them on the other side and do cucumbers here. I got to figure out what's going on. But anyway, we have our peas here. It may be, even though we're allowing these to bloom and we're harvesting fruit, when we pull them, we won't pull them. We'll just cut them, and we'll leave those nitrogen fixing nodules in the soil. So hopefully we'll get some residual nitrogen from these, and whatever we decide to plant here next will benefit from that. All right. So this next row is where we have the potential to plant out some more items. Here, the soil hasn't been amended for this season yet, but we started on that back end amending and planting. So this is where we started, and these things are fairly newly planted, so they look a little puny right now, but give them about a week and they'll look a lot better. So here we have more cabbages, more onions, and what I've done is surrounded the cabbages basically with the onions, and inadvertently given the collards some protection, hopefully protection as well. So I could go ahead and get some more soil in and just continue this planting all the way down to the beginning of this row, and that'll probably take care of all of those cabbages that we have there. So our next row has been featured quite a bit lately. And this is our collards. They are doing well. We're still going through and thinning. I'm not pressuring myself too much with this, but it's still looking good. Everything's still looking healthy. I just went through and did a fertilization today. Over the next few days, as I water, that'll get watered in and the plants will be able to start to uptake it. The next row here, right here, is our kale and dill. I'm actually about to start harvesting and dehydrating this dill. It is looking great. My goal with planting the dill was to go ahead and have some dehydrated and ready to go come spring for making pickles and our different things, that spice blends that we like to make. The kale is actually dealing with the gray aphid, and so we've been spraying it, and that's another area that needs some treatment today while it's cloudy. Finally, we have our carrots. They are looking great. I thinned a little bit, but not as much as I probably should. So we'll continue to go through and take care of that as the days and weeks progress. But right here, I want to mention, this is our oregano. And we put it in this little spot because I didn't know how it grew. I think I was expecting it to be more upright, kind of like the rosemary. Rookie mistake. But as you can see, it spreads on the ground a lot like mint, and it may even be related to it. I can't remember. But I've been enjoying having it. And so what I've been doing is, as it creeps over into the row where the carrots are at, that's the main part that we're harvesting. And so we're trying to push it to go back along the edge of the high tunnel. And so far it's working, slowly but surely, but we'll just have to keep training it and keep pruning it to keep it where we want it. We're planning on planting right there where that grass is coming up under the hardware cloth. We're planning on putting in our elephant garlic there, and the next section below it will both have elephant garlic planted. That is the plan there. So as you can see, there is a lot that we've done, but there's also a lot to be done, and that is always the case. We're okay with that. It keeps us busy. It gives us something exciting, fun, and upbuilding and uplifting to do. And so who's going to complain about that? As you can see, I've got a lot of peas that need to be harvested. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. I have no guarantee about how many are actually going to make it into the house, because, I mean, when you're the harvester, right, you have to have a treat. Am I right? Am I right? This is Sheena. Have a good one.